Ooh, delicious. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the morning routine. It's Thursday morning, January 18th, 2018, episode number 261. So glad to be here again yet with you today. So gorgeous morning out this morning. The sun is just barely coming up over the horizon. It is a balmy 2 degrees outside. Beautiful day. But this begins a little warm-up trend, which is going to be very nice. Warm up, I mean, into the 30s, which is good for those who live in other countries and don't know what's happening here in Northeast United States. But things are looking up. You know, yesterday was Hump Day, the Wednesday. Fantastic day. As always, one of my favorite days of the week. Get to serve with a group of people on a Wednesday night with a bunch of students. Always a good time. Topic of conversation last night came up. Why is it? Where does it come from? How do we understand it and still think of ourselves as nice people when we have this guilty pleasure of when we're driving down a snow-covered highway, very cautiously, 2 hands in the wheel, 10 and 2, eyes on the road, music turned down in deep concentration to make sure that we don't harm ourselves or other people, and the big old SUV goes barreling down the road past us at 3 times the speed of sound. And when when they go by, all we can think of is, I hope that they get stuck in the snow. And if we see them in a couple miles off onto the road and we know that they're okay, because we never want anybody to get hurt, but we see them off to the side of the road stuck in snow, why is it that inside we have a little smirk that creeps up and smiles and says, ha, ha, ha? Why is that? We're good people. We're nice people. We're caring people. Why is it that we feel that way? Why is it that when we see somebody doing donuts in this parking lot, we're like, that's amazing. Look how fun that is. But if they were to hit a lamp stand, you know, the big street lights in the middle of the parking lot, once we knew they were okay, of course. After that, we would be like, hee, did you see that? We would find a guilty pleasure. Where does that come from? Where? I don't know, you know? You consider yourself a caring person, a loving person, all those things, and then you notice those little things like that, and you just go, you know what? What the heck, man? You know, as much as I try, I still have those little things in there, so go figure. But anyways, I know I'm the only one that feels that way, so I'm just sharing my feeling with you, so pray for me, I guess, you know, But anyways, I hope everybody's doing fantastic. It is Thursday. Great day full of opportunity ahead. So excited. What a great day coming up. So I've got some stories here for you this morning. Before we get to stories, just a reminder, guys, themorningroutine.live. Great place to find all the articles we cover. Always, you can go in there. You can use the search box to search previous things. If you remember something that you think we talked about, type it in, or a date or whatever. It'll find it for you. Pull it up. You can see all the history on there. Also, if you're listening on the podcast, of course, Korea, by the way, hello. Second most listening country in the world to the podcast is Korea. So glad to have you guys. But if you're listening to the podcast, rate it. Give it a rating. You know, share it, like it, subscribe it, whatever. You know, just have fun with it. So just a reminder, all those things help other people find us and join in the fun. Good morning, Paul. Good to see you, my friend. And so on we go. So some stories here for you this morning. First, a little history story. You know, a little history story. Imagine a world where photography is a slow process that is impossible to master without years of study or apprenticeship. A world without iPhones or Instagram where one company reigns supreme. Such a world existed in 1973 when Stephen Sasson, a young engineer, went to work for Eastman Kodak. Yes, Kodak, the film company. They controlled, if you wanted a picture, you needed to talk to Kodak. Kodak was the film guys, you know, and no photographer. Nobody could be an expert in picture guy unless you were a trained photographer. Unbelievable. Anyways, 2 years later, after Stephen went to work for Eastman Kodak in 1973, he invented the digital photography and made the first digital camera. This article is very cool. You want to check it out because it actually has pictures of the monster Frankenstein device that he created to make the first digital picture. It's actually very cool. Soon after arriving at Kodak, Mr. Sasson, whatever, was given a seemingly unimportant task to see whether there was any practical use for a charged coupled device which had been invented a few years earlier. He quickly ordered a couple of them and set out to evaluate the devices, which consisted of a sensor that took an incoming two-dimensional light pattern and converted it into an electrical signal. Sounds very techy, doesn't it? Mr. Sasson wanted to capture an image with it, but the CCD couldn't hold it because the electrical pulses quickly dissipated. To store the image, he decided to use what was at the time a relatively new process, digitalization. Can you imagine? Digitalization was a new process in the 70s. That's amazing, turning electronic impulses into numbers. But that led to another challenge. Memory, storage. How do you store these pulses? Because back then, you know, right? Anyways, in the end, he ended up hooking all these Frankenstein devices and made the first digital camera. The camera alone was a historic accomplishment, but he needed to invent the playback system that would take the digital information on a cassette tape, that's what he stored it on, and turn it into something you could see on a television set. So it goes into the whole process. It took 30 seconds when they hit play. It took 30 seconds for it to convert from the tape storage to a picture on the TV. How would you like to sit around watching pictures like that, guys? That's ridiculous, right? So anyways, the whole story is here of how it went, how he had to go and talk Kodak into thinking it was a good idea because the engineers were like, who's ever going to want to do this, right? Well, he was ahead of his time. Very smart man. So great article if you want to read the rest of the history of it. Very cool. Kevin, great question. North or South Korea? I'm not sure. Maybe somebody in Korea can leave feedback on that, on if it's North or South, because it just comes up as Korea as all in one in the reports that I get to see. So that's an excellent question. I don't know the answer. But next story. So remember in the olden days? Yes. The olden days. Remember in the olden days when you had the TV on and you fell asleep and in the middle of the night you'd wake up to shh with the white noise and the static all across the screen, shh, right? That was, even if that was, some of the channels had the color bars, remember those? But usually it was just the white noise. You remember that, guys? Okay, so this is incredible. A musician who made a 10-hour-long video of continuous white noise, the indistinct electronic hiss that we know of, has been hit with 5 copyright infringement claims against him that other people own the white noise, the sound that he made. Could you imagine that? That's unbelievable. Claimants are accusing him of infringement, including publishers of white noise intended for sleep therapy. So they are saying that they own the shh sound. Serious. They own that sound. Unbelievable. So feel bad. You know, you got to watch what you do anymore because somebody might say they own it. I guess if you whistle the wrong tune, somebody could say, hey, I own that too. So I don't know. But anyways, that was a walk down memory lane with the shh. White noise. So, last story that I have for you. This story. So first, what do you think? So a research was done in a country, and the fertility rate had gone through the roof. All right, it had doubled. What do you think could cause a fertility rate of a region of a country to double? Let's say if they did research and they were like, oh, fertility doubled in the Scranton-Wilkes-Barre area. What do you think could cause a doubling of a fertility rate? Like, what could cause that? So, it's actually kind of simple. But I was thinking about it before I ever read the article and I couldn't figure it out. A patchwork of nondescript houses nestled at the foot of a mountain. Nagicho looks like an ordinary Japanese town. On closer inspection, something extraordinary marks it out. Babies. Yuki Fukudo is one of many local mothers with 3 children. The bump under her winter coat indicates that another is on the way. Part of a baby bonanza that has seen the town's fertility rate double since 2005. The cause appears, you know what, Kevin? I'm sorry to interrupt our radio listeners, but Kevin has a unique insight. Yes, if the Eagles were to win the Super Bowl here in Northeast Pennsylvania, that would cause a doubling of the fertility rate. There is no doubt about that. Great insight, Kevin. I like it. Anyways, back to our regularly scheduled story. That's fantastic. I love it. Anyways, the cause of the double fertility rate in this town in Japan appears to be very simple. Economics. Alarmed by the dearth of children, the local government increased incentives to have babies. The fertility rate rose from 1.4 child per mother to 2.8 children per mother. They will receive a celebratory gift of $3,500 when they give birth. They subsidize babysitting service, subsidize car seats and baby accessories. When their children reach secondary school, they'll receive, how many is 90,000 yen? That's like $1,200 a year for each one who attends. And whereas usually all but the poorest and the old in Japan have to pay 30% of their health care bills, in Nagicha, the local government pays 30% for the children. So they put in all these incentives, cash, and the fertility rate has doubled. So that's how you double a fertility rate. The town's dilemma is replicated across the country. Deaths outstrip births by a record 300,000 in 2016. Government projections say the population of 127 million could plummet by a third over the next 50 years in Japan. And so that's why they are trying to increase their population. So those are the stories I have for you this morning. On we go, guys, to trending. What is the top 10 most searched things yesterday on Google? Number 1, Gianni Versace. Number 1. Wow. Number 2, Bob Dole. Bob Dole received an award yesterday. Number 3, fake news awards. Trump finally handed out those fake news awards that he was talking about. Number 4, Betty White, the comedian, turned 96 years old. Number 5, Nintendo Labo. Don't know what that is. Number 6, Ann Curry. Ann Curry. Number 7, Riverdale. Number 8, Harley Barber. Number 9, Tom Brady. Number 10, FC Barcelona. That is the football squad. So that's the top 10 most searched things yesterday on Google. Trending news, top of the list, fake news awards. Chrissy Teigen live snaps from fake news awards. You could have watched it 11 hours ago, but it's over now. So York County, South Carolina, hurts us all. Longtime officer shot in attack on four York County police. What? A long time I was shot in attack on 4 York County police. That's weird. I don't know. It's very poorly written headline. I know whoever that copywriter is needs to relook that one. So I don't even know what it meant. Next, HHS. Trump to overhaul HHS Civil Rights Office to allow anti-LGBT religion-based discrimination. Then we have Agni V. Agni V success test fired Maharashtra today. That's in India. They fired a rocket is what that headline is all about. So after that, Apple Inc. Apple plans new U.S. campus to pay $38 billion in foreign cash taxes. Then we have Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon has struck a deal to avoid a grand jury appearance in Mueller's Russian probe. Then we have Michelle Obama. It's Michelle Obama's birthday. Here are all the D.C. restaurants where she's celebrated. Then we have Tide. This guy tried vaping a Tide Pod, and it didn't go so well. Very smart individual right there. Then we have Jeff Flake. Jeff Flake rips Trump in Senate speech. And then last but not least, we have Lennox Head. Drone helps rescue teens from surf hours after being unveiled. And that was in Lennox Head, New South Wales, over in Australia. So there we go. That is our trending news for today around the world very quickly. Let's move on, guys, to a passage of wisdom. Today's passage of wisdom, there's certain passages that are peaceful and encouraging and calm. And then there's certain passages of wisdom that are bam, right in the face. You know what I'm saying? Right? And sometimes, as much as we don't like those kinds, sometimes we need them. And this one is sort of like that, I think, at least. I don't know, man. So today's is a Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 6, verses 6 through 8. Go to the ant, you sluggard. Like I said, bam, to the face. Consider its ways and be wise. It has no commander, no overseer or ruler. Yet it stores its provisions in summer and gathers its food at harvest. It's a great passage. I mean, it really is if you take the time to just not be, you got to get over the bruise in the face for a minute there to soak it in. Go to the ant, you sluggard. Consider its ways and be wise. You think about an ant, they're always busy, getting stuff done. It has no commander, no overseer, no ruler. It has no boss saying you have to do this or you're fired. It just has a task at hand, and it gets to work at the task at hand without somebody pushing them with a cattle prod. They take it as personal responsibility to do what it was that their role is and what they were created for. Yet it stores its provisions in summer and gathers its food at harvest. It works and does what it needs to do without somebody pushing it along the way. Unbelievable that in this passage, it basically compares an ant to being wise because of how its work ethic is. So this is a great passage. We can think about this today in our own work life. Are we sluggards? Do we have to be pushed to work? Do we naturally just go and do what needs to get done because it needs to get done and we take responsibility for that? It's a great question. It's very powerful proverb there. So anyways, that's our passage of wisdom for this morning. So let's pray. Let's get this day started. Father, good morning. Father, thank you for this beautiful day, this freezing cold morning. This is awesome. It kills all the germs and things that are out in the air when it's this cold. At least that's what I think it does. And we thank you for this day, this great opportunity to live like the ant, to not need to be pushed to do our work and to live for what you created us to do, but to take personal responsibility, to go out and do our best, and to not sit around and be worthless, but to actually put effort in and for a purpose, for a cause, whether it's to be responsible for our homes, whether it's to be responsible for what it is that you have charged us to be responsible with, whatever it is, to live like the ant and be wise. Help us today to have that strength and that energy. I know, Father, there's times in our lives when it's very hard even to move for whatever reason, maybe an overwhelming circumstance, maybe we're just tired. Father, today give us the strength, heal us, give us full energy, full strength, a positive outlook, the optimism, the energy to step up and be great for you today. Father, we thank you for this passage and a reminder that you've given us, and thank you for us knowing that you'll be with us as we go out into our day today and try to accomplish what it is that you want us to. We love you. Amen. And that, my friends, is a magnificent wrap to the morning routine. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, do whatever it is that you like to do. But most importantly, don't forget to come on back here tomorrow where we get to hang out once again. Guys, until tomorrow, don't forget that today, this Thursday, is a fantastic opportunity for you to live up to what it is that you've been meant for. Don't forget, you have been made great. You have awesomeness inside you. I know it. Now show it. Have a great day, guys. See you tomorrow.